Deep in the heart of the East China Sea, shrouded in mist and legend, lies the Isle of Okinoerabujima, an island of rugged beauty. Volcanic peaks pierce the sky, casting long, ominous shadows upon the sandy shores below. Lush forests, a tapestry of emerald green, cloak the interior, masking the secrets that lie hidden beneath the dense canopy. But for all its natural splendor, a palpable sense of foreboding hangs heavy in the air, a chilling reminder of the island's sinister past. The island bears the scars of a turbulent past, a history steeped in bloodshed and sorrow. Ancient battles fought between rival clans vying for control of the island's strategic location left behind a legacy of violence. Whispers of samurai warriors, their souls forever bound to the island, echo through the bamboo groves. During the Second World War, Okinoerabujima became a strategic outpost, witnessing fierce fighting between Japanese and American forces. The echoes of their sacrifice still linger, adding to the island's palpable sense of unease. In more recent times, the island's dark legend has taken on a more sinister turn. A string of unsolved murders, each more gruesome than the last, has cast a pall over Okinoerabujima. The victims, mostly travelers, were found scattered across the island, their bodies bearing the marks of a depraved mind. Despite the best efforts of the local police, the killer, dubbed the Phantom of Okinoerabujima, was never caught. The murders ceased as abruptly as they began, leaving behind an island gripped by fear and a mystery that refused to be solved. The murders, though seemingly random, shared a chillingly consistent signature. Each victim was found posed, their bodies contorted into unnatural positions, their lifeless eyes staring vacantly at the sky. Near each body, the killer left a single, meticulously folded origami crane, a symbol of longevity and good fortune in Japanese culture. The authorities were baffled. The killer moved with an almost supernatural ability to evade detection, leaving behind no trace of their presence. It was as if the killer were a phantom, appearing and disappearing at will, leaving behind a trail of terror and despair. As the body count grew, so too did the fear that gripped the island. The once welcoming atmosphere turned cold and suspicious as neighbors began to eye each other with distrust. Whispers of ancient curses and malevolent spirits resurfaced, fueled by the authorities' inability to apprehend the killer. Some whispered that the killer was not human at all, but a yokai, a demon from Japanese folklore. The Phantom of Okinoerabujima remained an enigma, a shadow lurking at the edge of their vision, always one step ahead. As months turned into years, the murders faded into memory, becoming another dark chapter in the island's bloody history. The fear, however, lingered, a constant undercurrent to life on Okinoerabujima. Tourists, once drawn to the island's pristine beauty, now went elsewhere, their numbers dwindling to a trickle. The locals, hardened by generations of hardship, learned to live with the unspoken fear. The island had embraced its dark history, and the killer within its heart. Ethan, Maya, and Noah, three friends on the cusp of adulthood, sought adventure, a break from the monotony of their everyday lives. Drawn to the allure of the unknown, they stumbled upon a travel blog showcasing the haunting beauty of Okinoerabujima. The island, with its promise of pristine beaches, ancient ruins, and a chance to disconnect from the digital world, seemed like the perfect escape. The blog, however, made only a passing mention of the island's dark past, glossing over the unsolved murders as mere local folklore. Ethan dismissed the stories as exaggerated tales meant to deter tourists. Their decision made, they booked a flight to Okinawa, the nearest major island, and from there, a ferry to Okinoerabujima. The journey was long and arduous, but their spirits remained high, fueled by anticipation and the promise of adventure. As the ferry approached the island, its silhouette looming large against the setting sun, a sense of unease settled over them. On the ferry, they met an elderly fisherman who tried to warn them about the island, his eyes reflecting a deep-seated fear. The friends mistook his warnings for the ramblings of an old man, their youthful arrogance blinding them to the truth. As they disembarked the ferry and stepped onto the island's shores, they were greeted by an eerie silence. The village, nestled between the mountains and the sea, seemed deserted, its streets eerily empty. The houses, mostly old and weathered, seemed to stare back at them with empty eyes. Undeterred, the friends made their way to the only guest house on the island, a dilapidated building perched precariously on a cliff. As they settled into their room, the weight of the island's isolation began to press down on them. The following morning, eager to explore the island's hidden beauty, the trio set out into the heart of the island following a faded map they had found in the guest house. The map, hand-drawn and annotated in Japanese, led them along a winding path, deeper and deeper into the island's emerald embrace. The air grew cooler as they ventured further into the forest, the sunlight struggling to penetrate the dense canopy of leaves above. Just as their energy began to flag, they stumbled upon a clearing, the air thick with an almost tangible sense of foreboding. Before them stood a dilapidated stone torii gate, its once vibrant red paint now faded to a pale pink. A sense of unease settled over them as they stepped across the threshold, the hairs on the back of their necks prickling with a primal fear. The clearing beyond the gate was shrouded in an unnatural twilight, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and decaying leaves. At the far end of the clearing stood a small wooden shrine, its once ornate carvings now barely discernible beneath a thick layer of moss and lichen. The shrine, its roof partially collapsed, seemed to sag under the weight of the forest pressing in on all sides, and it was there, at the base of the crumbling shrine, that they found it. A single, blood-stained origami crane. Time seemed to stop. The air, heavy with the weight of the discovery, seemed to crackle with an unseen energy. The silence of the forest, once peaceful and serene, now felt oppressive, filled with the echoes of unseen horrors. Maya's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp of horror. Ethan, his skepticism shattered, felt a cold dread creep up his spine. They had stumbled upon something dark and sinister, a secret the island had guarded jealously for far too long. As they stood there, surrounded by the remnants of shattered lives, a terrifying realization dawned on them. This was no ordinary crime scene, no random act of violence. This was the lair of the phantom of Okinoerabujima, the hunting ground of a monster, and they, unwittingly, had stumbled into his domain. As they turned to leave, their eyes fell upon a set of fresh footprints in the soft earth near the shrine. The hunter was returning. Panic seized them. Turning on their heels, they fled back the way they had come, their hearts pounding in their chests. The once familiar path, now shrouded in the encroaching darkness, seemed to twist and turn with a malevolent intent. The forest, once a place of serene beauty, had transformed into a menacing labyrinth, its shadows alive with unseen terrors. They could hear the sounds of their pursuer crashing through the undergrowth behind them. Ethan, his breath ragged, stumbled over a gnarled tree root, his ankle twisting beneath him. The forest grew darker, the dense canopy of leaves above blocking out the last vestiges of daylight. The full moon, a malevolent eye peering down from the inky blackness, cast long, eerie shadows that danced and writhed around them. The sounds of their pursuer grew closer, each heavy footstep a reminder of their vulnerability. Maya, her breath coming in ragged gasps, her legs burning with exhaustion, stumbled again. Noah, his own energy reserves dwindling, knew they couldn't outrun their pursuer much longer. Through the darkness, a faint glimmer of light flickered in the distance, a beacon of hope in the oppressive blackness. A surge of adrenaline, fueled by desperation, coursed through them. Could it be the village? Had they somehow managed to circle back to safety? Urging each other onward, they stumbled towards the light. The light emanated not from the welcoming glow of civilization, but from a dilapidated cabin, its wooden walls blackened with age and decay. The hunter was close. They could feel his presence, a palpable weight in the air, a predator toying with its prey. Ethan, his voice a strained whisper, outlined his desperate plan. It was a long shot, a gamble with their lives, but it was their only chance. The cabin, for all its ominous appearance, offered a sliver of hope, a chance to regroup, to catch their breath, to perhaps even turn the tables on their pursuer. They would make their stand there in that ramshackle monument to decay, and pray that it wouldn't become their tomb. With a shared look of grim determination, they crept towards the cabin, their movements a study in silent coordination, their fear a palpable presence in the stillness of the night. Every creak of the floorboards beneath their feet, every rustle of leaves in the wind, sent shivers down their spines. They were trapped, hunted, but they were not yet broken. They still had the will to fight, the will to survive. The hunter had pushed them to the edge, but in doing so, he had awakened a primal instinct within them, an unyielding determination to live to see the dawn. The cabin door creaked open on rusty hinges, a protest against the intrusion of light and life into its dusty domain. The interior was as oppressive as its exterior, the air thick with the smell of mildew and decay. Cobwebs, thick as a spider's web of despair, hung from every corner, shrouding the room in an eerie, ethereal glow. A single rickety table occupied the center of the room, its surface littered with the remnants of past meals, long since consumed by insects and time. Ethan, his ankle throbbing, collapsed onto a pile of moldy hay in the corner, his chest heaving with exhaustion. Maya, her eyes scanning their surroundings, quickly bolted the door, the sound echoing through the cabin like a death knell. Noah, his adrenaline fueled by a potent cocktail of fear and determination, began frantically searching for anything that could be used as a weapon. The cabin, a sanctuary of shadows, offered little in the way of comfort, but it was all that stood between them and the darkness that stalked them from the forest. Minutes stretched into an eternity, each tick of Maya's watch a hammer blow to their raw nerves. They huddled together in the flickering lamplight, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and determination. The silence of the cabin, broken only by the sound of their own breathing, was more unnerving than any sound the forest could conjure. They were trapped, like animals in a cage, waiting for the inevitable moment when the hunter would come for them. Ethan, his breathing shallow, his eyes darting around the room, noticed a series of strange symbols etched into the grimy wall. Crudely drawn in charcoal, they depicted stick figures, one larger than the others, surrounding a smaller figure. A chill ran down his spine as he realized the significance of the drawing. A hunt. This cabin, this supposed sanctuary, was no accident. It was a trap, a lair where the hunter lured his prey, a stage set for their final act. A low growl echoed from the forest outside, followed by heavy footsteps circling the cabin. The hunter was toying with them, savoring their fear. Ethan gripped the iron candlestick tighter. Maya aimed her camera at the door, ready to capture their tormentor. Noah, resolute, positioned himself near the window with a makeshift spear. The candlelight flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. A pair of glowing eyes appeared at the window, cold and calculating. The hunter was watching, waiting to strike. The night was his, but within the cabin, a spark of defiance ignited. The friends braced themselves for the fight of their lives. They would not surrender to the darkness. They would fight for the dawn. The first rays of dawn pierced through the gaps in the boarded-up windows, illuminating the cabin with an ethereal glow. The long night of terror had finally ended. Outside, the forest was coming to life, birds chirping a welcome counterpoint to the memories of the hunt. Ethan, his ankle bandaged, leaned against Maya, gripping a candlestick. Distant sirens, a symphony of hope, cut through the morning mist. Help had arrived, not a moment too soon. The nightmare was over, but the scars would remain. The journey back to the mainland was a blur of exhaustion, relief, and the lingering taste of fear. The ferry, cutting through the choppy waters, mirrored their turbulent emotions. They had survived the island, but not unscathed. Ethan's throbbing ankle was a constant reminder of their fragility. Maya's camera held images she would never share, shadows of the hunt etched in her memory. Noah's spirit, tempered by fear, vowed to cherish life's simple joys. The world devoured their tale of survival, their story splashed across front pages, faces blurred to protect identities. Authorities hailed them as heroes, a testament to human resilience, but heroism came at a price. The hunter's eyes in the darkness would haunt their dreams long after the headlines faded. Life, as it always does, went on. Ethan, Maya, and Noah return to their everyday lives, their friendship forged in adversity. The island, shrouded in mist and legend, receded into whispered tales. Tourists, lured by its beauty and dark past, continued to visit. But the island, they say, never forgets. Whispers of ancient curses linger in the wind. Deep within, shadows of the past still dance. The legend of the phantom of Okinoerabujima lives on.